let's go stand over here. So, just made a tune. Got my bars somewhat set up. None of my glyphs saved, so let's save those real quick. Ooh. Is the damage done by 100%? That's not terrible. Momentum. Oh shit. That's not what I wanted. I wanted rapid displacement. And let's throw that on. Alright. So glyphs really haven't changed yet, guys, in the alpha for Warlords of Draenor. All these are pretty much the same. Fire did get Glyph of Dragon's Breath, increases the damage done by Dragon's Breath by 100%. So that might be useful on like heavy AoE fights. I don't know for sure. We'll see. Interruption. When you successfully counterspell a target, the remaining cooldown on counterspell is reduced by 4 seconds. That's not a terrible one to have, especially if you are on interrupt duties. Regenerative Rise, you regenerate 4% of your maximum health every 1 second during the duration of Ice Block. Wow. Also not a bad glyph. Again, this will mainly be used for PvP, but it's not terrible for PvE. It's not the worst thing I've seen for PvE. It just probably won't be, you know, on the top of the list. Obviously, you know, for these, there's really nothing that's really good for miners, minus momentum. Momentum's about the only one that I like. So, I'm going to get this. You can chill over there, I guess. Alright, so, the first thing we need to do, let's go over talents as well. The way that I'm actually playing Fire, I'm actually going to take Ice Flows. Now, I know you're wondering, let's go through these. Again, this is pretty much just, it replaces Ice Block. It's roughly the same exact thing, except it doesn't interrupt spell casting. Blazing Speed is that quick burst of movement speed, which we don't really need because we have double blink. So Ice Flows you can cast 3 times. Now, obviously, Fireball does more damage than Scorch. So if we do have to move, we have Scorch, right? But look at the damage. It's literally half the damage. So if we can cast more Firebolts, we might as well do that. For this, we are going to get rid of Flame Glow. We're going to take Ice Barrier in this row. Alter Time, they took away the fact that it deals with our buffs and debuffs, so we don't really care about Alter Time anymore as Fire. Flame Glow is a passive that just absorbs, and Ice Barrier, obviously, nice big meaty cooldown. So we're gonna stick with that for the time being. PvP row, Ring of Frost, Ice Ward, Frost Draw. None of those have changed as of yet. Greater Invis. I still like Greater Invis a lot. Cauterize, however, nice oh shit. And Cold Snap, obviously very, very good for PvP. Now, this is where it gets interesting, guys, because they change things. So, cause an explosion of fiery force around the target, enemy, or ally, dealing... So you can target this on anything. To all enemies within 8 yards and dazing them, reducing their movement speed by 70%. If primary target is an enemy, they take 100% increased damage. So, this actually has... it replaces Frost Nova. So this actually has a really interesting effect to it for Fire. I will be playing around with this a little bit. I'm not going to play around with it right now. I'm actually going to try this Unstable Magic. And I don't want to take my Bomb. Okay, so your Bomb obviously is a nice thing to keep up. And they changed it so that it does splash damage. But this, Unstable Magic, is the one I want to test. So it's a passive. Arcane Blast Fireball, which is our main filler, and has a 50% chance to explode on impact, dealing an additional 50% damage to the target and all our enemies within 8 yards. I really like this a lot. Also, the one that we're going to be testing today is Incanter's Flow. Now, Incanter's Flow, I think, has the best possibility of being the most OP. The problem is you have to line up everything from the gods of RNG to really get this to work, because it's a 5-second build-up and then a 5-second diminish. So you're at least getting a 5% damage increase at all times, up to a 25%. It goes up every second, down every second, 10-second cast. So, Rune of Power, obviously, we see that it's still the same thing as it is currently in live. And then Mirror Images is the other 3-minute cooldown. They've upped it to 3 minutes, or they kept it at 3 minutes, but they've increased the damage it's done. And then our level 100 talents. So, Kindling, your Fireball, Pyroblast, and Infernal Blast. Critical strikes reduce the cooldown remaining on combustion by 1 second. That is ridiculous. That is so good. Every spell you cast reduces combustion. The more combustions you get, the better. And now that we don't have Alter Time, could be an amazing, amazing talent, especially for single target fights. If we're not moving, if we need to sit there and nuke shit, Kindling is amazing. All right. Prismatic Crystal conjures a prismatic crystal at the target location, which is attackable by only the mage. It takes 30% additional damage. So you're doing 130% damage to that crystal. When the crystal takes damage, it instantly releases a burst of energy, dealing that damage split evenly between all enemies within 8 yards. So, again, I don't really think this is going to be as amazing for fire per se, but think about it if you got a really big combustion on that crystal while those ads are coming out, and just watch that combustion explode to everything for 130% damage to everything within 8 yards. Again, very, very tricky, high risk, high reward here with the crystal. I think it's going to be more for huge AoE pack of ads. I think that might be the only time you're going to use that. Meteor calls it a meteor, which lands at the target location after 2.64 seconds, dealing 4k fire damage split evenly between all targets within 8 yards. Also burns the ground, doing an additional 351 damage every 1 second for 8 seconds to the enemies in the area on a 45-second cooldown. So that's actually a really, really nice damage increase spell. Very direct. It's not the clunky, shitty level 90 talents anymore. It is, this is what it does, this is your buff, this is what you get. So I really, really like the way that they've redone everything so far. So let's go ahead and learn those so far. There's my Ice Flows, which we are actually going to put in spot 7, and we are going to put my Ice Barrier in my shift down mouse wheel, so that way I have that nice buff. There's my double blink still on. Alright, so we're good to go. So we are realistically ready to go. Those are the talents and the glyphs, though, guys. Not really a whole lot has changed. The glyphs, or the talents, however, we're obviously going to keep monitoring, see what they do, see if they take anything out. I like the idea of where they're going with this, especially with this idea of unstable magic. So you don't have to have a dot as fire. You already have a movement spell. It's one less thing you have to worry about. You're literally now just pummeling things in. The only problem is, obviously, is if you don't have any other targets and it's pure single target, then obviously Living Bomb's going to come out on top because it's just more damage, right? It's overall, it's just going to be better for single target. So let's see if make sure our damage numbers are on here. If I can hit. Okay, so let's attack something that's maybe not 300 levels higher than us. There we go. So as you can see that splash damage every time it comes out. You see that? That's what that damage is right there, that splash on damage. Right, turn on Arcane Brilliance. So you can see up in the corner here too, guys, this is the Incanter's flow buff. So now my damage is going up, it's going up, it's going up, it's going up, it's going up. Alright, so I'm going to pop out. Okay, so our Pyroblast, so we're not getting any crits, so we must have really low crit chance, which makes sense, you know. Did that not automatically... Alright. See, again, now we don't have a dot, so I'm literally just spamming this spell. Alright, so here we go. So let's do... Throw that out, throw that out, throw that out. Wait. There we go. So obviously Combustion isn't hitting for a ton, and I did it at 0 stacks pretty much, because you can see I'm now at 5 stacks for my damage here. But a lot of nice splash damage. Again, it makes fire very, very boring. So I can cast Fireball while moving now with Ice Flows, get my 3 stacks. And again, if I still need to move after that, then I have to switch out of my damaging spell to Scorch. I can still cast Scorch on the move. So obviously we're queued for a dungeon. We'll see how that goes. I don't know how long it'll take us to get into a dungeon. We'll see. And obviously without damage meters, we can't really test, you know, what we're going to get a whole lot of damage out of. But... you know, we'll give it a whirl regardless, see what happens. Let's see what we can get out of here. So, as you can see, this Incanter's Flow is going to be a very interesting buff. I really think this is going to be the main thing that's going to need tweaking, and it's going to be interesting to play around with going forward.